Why do you go to this school? Why does anybody go to this school or any other school?
Do you have any other questions that are smart?
Why is that surprising?
When we coach ball, we don't look at color.
You are a nasty person, I'll tell you.
We're all aware of the notorious nature of certain agenda-driven reporters who, under the guise of journalism, resort to disrespectful tactics, getting personal and attacking their guests to push their own narratives. However, some individuals refuse to tolerate such behavior and boldly call out the propagandist nature of these interviewers, exposing their true intentions. Here are 10 times when disrespectful woke interviewers got owned instantly, starting off with the time when Ricky Gervais schooled Joy Behar, co-host of the TV talk show The View, on political correctness. Watch him subtly roast them all.
When I was in England trying to do stand-up there, you can't say anything about the Queen. They have a fit, and they won't laugh. Is that true when you do it?
No, not anymore.
Not my crowd. Well, it was then.
No, I mean, I think that, I think that BBC are still a bit stuffy because they get complaints and, they're a sort of government body, so they fear complaints. But live, no, anything, it's just, no.
Well, when you go on the Golden Globes, a lot of time you are politically incorrect and hilarious, of course.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
So this is... Well, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about offence, isn't it? When people say they're offended, it's that, just because you're offended, it doesn't mean you're right, It's... offence is about feelings, and feelings are personal. Some people are offended by equality. So what? So you can't second-guess people. If you try and please everyone, you'll please no one. With comedy as well, I think you've got to deal with taboos and contentious issues, and sometimes you deal in irony, and some people don't get that, but... you can't legislate against stupidity, otherwise you'll be doing nothing. So if you're saying anything...
Hats off to Ricky for demonstrating such high-class conduct by politely expressing his views and effectively countering their arguments with his courtesy. You could see Joy becoming uncomfortable the entire time Ricky was speaking. Next, we have a panel of reporters who epitomize what's wrong with today's media. They were there to interview Mr. Trump, but from the very start, it seemed they came prepared to disrespect and insult him.
Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
The very first question made it abundantly clear that the reporters were after a loaded, disrespectful inquiry meant to provoke, but little do they know how badly it will backfire on them.
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money, they were stone cold broke, and I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late. Just so we understand, I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something was wrong.
Mr. President, I would love if you can answer the question on your rhetoric and why you believe that black voters should trust you with another 4 years.
I have been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President Johnson, who signed
answer.
the Voting Rights Act?
And for you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work, in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
It's so asinine that they resort to using terms like black reporter just to play the victim card. But Trump, as usual, shut down their nonsense and made it crystal clear that their tactics wouldn't be entertained. But this isn't the only time the media has tried to frame people with race-baiting questions. Take, for example, when Todd Bowles, the NFL head coach, was hit with a barrage of ridiculous inquiries aimed at divisive narratives, a tactic that perfectly exposes the brain deadness of these journalists.
You and Mike Tomlin are two of the few black head coaches in the league. I wonder what your relationship is like with them and your thoughts on Steve Wilks joining that fold.
I have a very good relationship with Tomlin. We don't look at what color we are when we coach against each other. We just know each other. I have a lot of very good white friends that coach in this league as well, and I don't think it's a big deal as far as us coaching against each other. I think it's normal. Wilks got an opportunity to do a good job. Hopefully he does it. And we coach ball. We don't look at color.
But you also understand that representation matters too, right? And that when young aspiring coaches or even football players, they see you guys, they see someone that looks like them, maybe grew up like them, that has to mean something.
Well, when you say you see you guys and look like them and grow up like them, means that we're oddballs to begin with. And I think the minute you guys stop making a big deal about it, everybody else will as well.
The relentless race baiting meant to stir up sensitive topics is absolutely sickening, and I'm glad Todd didn't fall for it and shut her nonsense down completely. It's refreshing to see their agenda completely dismantled, and no one does it better than Denzel Washington. Watch as he exposes the shadiness of today's media when questioned about the accusations regarding his political leanings.
Buzz about this fake news. You were the subject of a fake news story.
Oh yeah, what they say? I was running for president. No, I voted. No, what they say?
You switched your support.
I switched.
Yeah.
What
do you make of all the fake news and it affects
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed.
So what do you do?
That's a great question. What is the long-term effect of too much information? One of the effects is the need to be first, not even to be true anymore. So what a responsibility you all have to tell the truth, not just to be first, but to tell the truth. We live in a society now where it's just first. Who cares? Get it out there. We don't care who it hurts. We don't care who we destroy. We don't care if it's true. Just say it, sell it. Anything you practice, you'll get good at, including BS.
You told me last night.
Okay. But you heard me? Does that make sense?
Next on the list is Catalan Collin, who has mastered the art of annoying her guests, only to have them demolish her in return. She's known for being rude and disrespectful, and, as Trump famously put it, she's a very nasty person.
When it comes to your documents, did you ever show those classified documents to anyone?
Not really. I would have the right to. By the way, they were declassified
What do you mean, not really?
after. Not that I can think of. Let me just tell you, I have the absolute right to do whatever I want with them. I have the right. I was negotiating with NARA. Do you know what NARA is?
The National Archives.
Extremely
negotiate
left group
with
of
them.
people. Extremely left. And I was negotiating with
They're
them.
not
All of a
left,
sudden,
they're
they
bipartisan.
raided my house. They didn't raid the house of Joe Biden. They didn't raid Obama.
But Joe Biden didn't ignore a subpoena to get those documents back like
Joe
you
Biden
did. And so
took
that's the question.
1,850 boxes.
But that's the question that investigators have, I think, is why you held on to those documents when you knew the federal government was seeking them and then had given you a subpoena to return them.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Can I talk?
Yeah, what's
you
the
mind?
answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple to. You're a nasty person, I'll tell you.
Do you still have any classified documents in your possession?
Are you ready?
Do you?
No, I don't have anything. I have no classified documents. And by the way, they become automatically declassified when I took them. But
No, you
why?
have to declassify
Let me
them.
ask you a question. Why is it that Biden had 9 boxes in Chinatown? and he gets a lot of money from China. Why is that? And
There
why,
is no
why
evidence
aren't
of that,
people?
Mr. President. No, you cannot
why
say
aren't
that. There
people
is no
bringing that
evidence
up?
of that, Mr.
And why don't they
President.
put this
What
guy
you're
Jack
referring
Smith
to
and his
is an
group of
office that he
of
had.
thugs?
Mr.
Why don't
President-
they put him in charge of that?
It's insane that she's even considered a journalist at this point. Her behavior is more like that of a protester as she tried to talk over Trump while he was speaking. Moving forward, we have a student who was ejected by his professor for simply stating the obvious and using a little common sense.
So I don't know if I was mischaracterizing that. You had this professor called Allison Downey who was so threatened because you disagreed with her that she tried to get you to sign some form apologizing for your unorthodox, non-allowed thoughts, and then what happened?
Right, yeah, she asked that I would sign a document complying with her asking me to apologize to the class as well as giving her a written apology. She asked that I would stand in front of the class in silence as I apologized, and then they would give any comments on my outbursts.
Did she say what specifically she was so offended by?
She didn't like the fact that I disagreed with the subject being pushed in class being more than one gender, male privilege, systemic sexism, and mansplaining.
Is mansplaining a measurable thing? I mean, is it a like species of social science studying mansplaining? What is mansplaining anyway? Do you know? Did you learn?
I'm not sure. I think it's any time a man speaks, really.
Huh.
And
so
no, it isn't measurable.
What did you? Right. I mean, it's a species of dumbness, really. So, but what did you? It's propaganda. What did you say about gender that made her so mad, specifically?
Well, I first referenced entities like The Economist who have debunked the myth of the 77 cents on the dollar wage gap. And I also stated that biologists don't agree that there are more than two genders. They don't believe that there are 72 genders or more across the board. Most of them disagree, and she really didn't appreciate that.
So by citing the longstanding view of biologists, the hard scientists, Allison Downey, who supposedly, you say she's a professor, tried to get you to stand in front of the class and take abuse. Did you do that?
No, I didn't. I was supposed to, but she really didn't give me a chance. I was given 10 days to comply, but the day after she asked this of me, she decided to push it on through to the university's provost office to then hold a hearing, which would decide whether or not I could be allowed in class, period.
Why do you go to this school? Or why does anybody go to this school or any other school? I mean, what are you getting out of this exactly?
Well, I initially went for athletics my freshman year, but that's a long gone dream now. I'm pretty much just stuck here.
Back in the day, teachers would praise students for using common sense, but things have shifted with the constant influence of woke ideology. This is exactly why we're seeing a growing trend toward homeschooling our kids.
Yes. Who do you date? Well, right now it's Brooke Shields. Well, we try not to just be everywhere and go it's mostly at home. She'll come over, I'll go to her house, because I don't like going out in the public.
Have you ever been in love?
Yeah.
With Brooke Shields?
Yes, and another girl.
And another girl? I'm going to ask you this, and it's embarrassing for me to ask you this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Are you a virgin?
How could you ask me that question?
I just want to know. I want to know.
I'm a gentleman.
You're a gentleman.
I'm a gentleman.
So
I'm a gentleman.
So, okay, I would interpret that to mean that means that you believe that a lady is a lady, and therefore...
That's something that's private. I mean, you know, shouldn't be spoken about openly. You can call me old-fashioned if you want, but, you know, to me that's very personal.
So you're not going to answer it?
I'm embarrassed.
Interviewers have made it their everyday job to put their guests down, often asking cruel questions without a thought for how the other person might feel. Speaking of disrespect, consider Johan Hills, long ridiculed for his appearance. Like that time when Jimmy Kimmel made a particularly rude remark about the way he smells.
First of all, you smell good, which is surprising.
Why is that surprising?
I don't know. I just wouldn't think of a guy who would have a nice scent on, and it
That's
seems
such a like. I'm gonna really work hard to not take that as a shot. You know what I mean? Like, because I think you would smell nice.
No, but I don't have.
Let's dissect that.
On.
No. Let's go back.
Okay, let's go back. Yeah.
And changing of your physique. I mean, you look great. Everybody wants to know what made you make the change.
I just decided one day I wanted to be healthier, and I went and saw a nutritionist, and that's what I did. Stuck to it.
But are you still considered the fat guy when you go to a party or anything? Because I run into that a whole lot. I'm the fat one. So are you the fat guy in Hollywood still, or is everybody like look at you and they're like, oh wow, this is great, now you're healthy?
Do you have any other questions that are smart?
There's only so much one can tolerate, and in this interview, Jonah completely lost it and had to walk out abruptly.
Jonah, do you think it's important to be unattractive to be funny? Can skinny people be funny?
I don't think it has to do with like anything besides just being funny and like being yourself, like
Ben Stowe is 5'2" and he weighs 110 pounds. He's in incredible shape. He's like amateur bodybuilder.
How heavy were you in Evan Almighty?
I just don't think it's like I don't think it has anything to do with like what.
What will you do when your career's over? In a couple of months.
Work.
What the man? Are you deliberately trying to do this to like get a rise out? Is this English dry or
It's okay.
are you? I don't understand. Can you just ask a normal question?
I think we've got off on the wrong foot here. I just wanted to sort of like ask, let's keep the questions light. Can skinny people really be funny? Because Jonah is clearly more funny than you in the film, Michael.
We've done 20 interviews today, and I feel like you're personally just coming after me, and I just feel like I don't know what I'm just kind of not really in the mood to do this. We don't need this interview. We've done 20 interviews. It's not fun.
Sorry.
You know how badly I want to. No, you think it's funny? You think this is all a big joke? But this is we're here. We don't need to be here. We're here to try and sell the movie. We're not here to be your friend. Don't laugh like you're my friend, okay? I will knock your teeth out of your skull if Michael. Hey, you know what? No. I don't calm me down, dude. Now we do this all day. I'm tired. I want to go home. I have I want to do too. So I'll go over there and rip your hair out of your head and you go, shut up.
Why did you listen to me for just...
It's like in the, he's like he is in the film.
I'm stressed out? Because I'm on Atkins, I haven't eaten shit all day, because every reporter comes in here and asks me what it's like to be unattractive, and I want to sit here and you right now. I literally, my dream right now is to get out of this chair and knock your teeth out of your head.
Okay, well,
No, you. No, you.
Jonah.